My fourth garden tour. I'm just going to take you through just the things that have changed in the last week, and I'll skip over all of the rest of the things. I moved it over here, right next to the entrance of my garden, just because I love it and I wanted to stake it up a little bit more so that it can climb a little higher. I have noticed that this has been attacked by aphids a little bit, so I've been trying to be a little bit more diligent about removing them. So far it seems like it's mostly just the bottom stem and flowers that form that start to have little pockets of aphids. So I've been just trying to remove them by hand. I'm not using anything on it yet because I don't want to kill some of the beneficial bugs that are pollinating it, so it's kind of a catch-20. My cucamelons are finally climbing! I'm so excited. I haven't seen any fruit or anything on them just yet, but they're really cute to see the little fruits that come off of that. So all 4 of them are starting to send off shoots and tendrils to climb. So I can't wait to see what that's going to look like. My pea plants are finally blooming. Not only blooming, but I got my first peas. Yay! I'm very excited. I think almost all of them are blooming now. So I'll be cutting those, putting them in some salads. I have had pretty intense pest pressure from the woodchuck. The baby, one of the smallest ones, the runt, has made its way inside the garden fence now that all of the grass on the other side of the fence is drying out a little bit. It finally tried to get in, and it did. I have since put up chicken wire, but when he got in, he did quite a bit of damage. He ate all of my lettuces down to a little nub just this morning. They are starting to grow back, but it looks like they're going to be bolting anyway. I think this variety might still have a little bit of time because this was one of the only ones that didn't still taste a little bit bitter. So I'm hopeful that when this one grows back, because it doesn't look like he got it to the nub, which is good. This one might be a goner, but we'll have to see. I'm hoping that these will still taste pretty good when they grow back. Which, however, was already bolting. Couldn't eat that, of course. No, had to eat the lettuce that I could still eat. And this lettuce is starting to grow back, but like I said, it was starting to get a little bit bitter too, so that might just be done. He did, however, love the kale, the frilly kale, and of course the frilly kale was still tasting great. And he ate all of it. So there's a tiny leaf on that one. That one probably will still grow. Cilantro, oh, I hope he didn't kill it. This one looks okay. Oh, there is a tiny leaf there. Looks like that one will be okay too. So I should still be able to get some kale as it grows. That lettuce, however, is a goner. And my trout lettuce make me so mad because that is the only trout lettuce seed that actually survived. So from my old house, I had saved seeds because we really enjoyed that lettuce and it did so well in our front yard. And it was the first seed that I'd actually grown myself. So unfortunately, he ate it. There you go. A ground cherry is looking absolutely amazing. And you can see all the little itty bitty ground cherries under there, and the tiny little flowers are so pretty and beautiful. It's still getting attacked pretty well with flea beetles. At this point, I don't think it's gonna be that detrimental to the plant, so I'm not even sure if I should continue to bother with it. It's kind of a hassle to keep putting it up because we get just enough moisture in the mornings that it kind of dissipates the diatomaceous earth, but I don't know. I may or may not mess with it. Depends. But look at all those wonderful little blooms. I'm so excited. So I'm definitely not going to replace this little half square. So this is actually 12 by 12 inches. And this one, since we only had a half foot, is only 6 by 12. So I won't replace that with anything because this will be big enough that it'll overlap. So I'll give it that room. And take a look at that. Do you know what that is? that's a strawberry bloom on the plant that I just planted as runners. I didn't think that there was any chance of getting any strawberries from these plants because I planted them as runners. So this is the first year plant. How cool is that? That these will actually flower. I don't know what the strawberries taste like. My mom has only gotten one off of her plant and it was a bit sour. So we'll have to see. But I thought that was really exciting and I'm very excited to see that. One of the biggest things that I'm most excited about and the biggest change in the garden is the pumpkin plant. Now, this is pretty cool. This is something that started out as a kid's science project in, I think it was March. And we planted these seeds inside just to learn about germination and things like that. And we never expected it to do well at all. It's beautiful. It's bringing in pollinators, which is really cool. Up till now, it's only had male flowers. Well, this morning, I'm so happy that finally the female bloom has finally opened, and I'll show you what that looks like. So all the flowers so far have been male, and the way you can tell is they're all on these tall, skinny stems, and the flower just goes up that way. Okay? The big difference, that's a female flower, okay? So this was already on there. This was closed, just like that flower right there was closed until this morning. But now that it's opened, it has this fruit on the bottom, which is a tiny pumpkin waiting to be pollinated. Well, it's all the way up there, and I could let the bees and butterflies and ants and everything that goes into the garden do their thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop off this male flower, and I'm going to remove the petals off of it, so that part that has the pollen, and then I'm going to pollinate it myself. So there's a little fruit at the bottom, and inside the petal, well, I'm going to do it myself just to make sure that it gets pollinated. And that should do it. So it looks a little different. You can kind of see that some of the pollen grains are missing because they got... Could you imagine if we had to do all that by hand all the time? You can see all the tiny little bugs in there too. They'll accomplish the same thing if they visited the male flower. So what happens now is those tiny little itty bitty grains of pollen, some of them do different jobs, but they'll come down and some of them will be like a key, an activator, and they'll open up a tubule that will grow from the base of this flower all the way into the fruit, or the base of the receptacles all the way down into the fruit, and then other grains of pollen have other jobs and they will activate the fruit. Very cool. So hopefully we'll have an actual pumpkin growing in a couple of days. I'll keep you updated. Here's the size of the lime green salad tomato from Totally Tomatoes. It is definitely winning the size race. The last thing that I wanted to show on my tour was that my potatoes are blooming. Well, maybe not potatoes. This particular potato is blooming. It's actually one of the prettiest blooms I've ever seen. It's very interesting. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my short tour today. My garden is changing little by little. Have a great day.